shout to all my boss boys. The Skrillex is one of the more terrible ideas, and great way to kick off the morning. So welcome. Wow. What was I talking about with the technology stuff? Well, if you were with us for the last week or so, you noticed that I'd start to try to write down our stuff as we were working through terrible ideation, Imagivation, as we call it here, TM. And I was getting stuck and slowed down, and I just finally I'd had enough of it, and you can see right behind me here, RIP, the iMac 2017. I had to move the whole studio. I had to tear the whole thing apart and bring a PC in. You can see my dorky PC keyboard here. This is going to be a whole new territory for us. Hoping that things are a little bit smoother. I know you'll come along for the ride with me. It's going to be fun no matter what to watch me try to make it through. But come with me. Things should be moving a little bit faster now. We can be able to jump in and out. Look at that. Let's take just our 5 minutes at the beginning of the thing. You know how we do this, and let's figure out. Let's figure out what are we going to do with a 2017 iMac. And depending on where the ideas go, we may actually do what the most terrible idea is. So think about, you've got a 2017 iMac. Only 3 years ago, it was absolutely world-class, best-in-class Apple Macintosh machine, 32 gigs of RAM, 4-core quad. Folks, it's a quad-core iMac 2017. SETI at home. All right, let's get that thing out there talking to space, right? Let's start generating some CPU cycles, as many as it can handle, because apparently it had a little bit of trouble with this drawing program. But let's talk to aliens. Baradane, thank you for jumping right in. Hey, Mrs. Duck. Hey, welcome to Imagivate Live. It's so great. And yes, by the way, Mr. C Sharp, Skrillex is copyrighted. So I will the entire front end of this show will be muted. All right, we're back to iMac 2017. Thought worst, can you turn it into an aquarium like they did with the original Macintosh? Possibly. It would be a very, very narrow space for the fish. Maybe we get some of those little Jack Dempsey's, kind of squeeze them in there. All right, so aquarium. Terrible idea, especially with that make and model, because we really are talking about, you've seen the commercials, like razor thin, razor thin monitor kind of thing with the terrible stand that was always so difficult to manage. Aquarium, okay, pretty bad. Ant Farm, Dave on Base 32, welcome in, Ant Farm. And maybe we do an alien Ant Farm. See what I did there, folks? We're connecting dots already this morning. Terrible ideas ahoy. Let's see, support sidecar, good morning. Download one of those fireplace screensavers and place it into your existing fireplace and set it on fire. All right, fire. Let's see what Holtz said. Holtz, one of our new founding subscribers. Welcome back in, Scott Holtzman. Put it in your car. Cosplay being a Tesla driver. So yes, it's unfortunately it's only a 27-inch iMac, so it's not quite the same size as a Tesla in-dash screen, but I like that. Tesla pretendery. I'd be lying if I didn't say I already tried to pull that off in my 2009 Honda Accord sometimes. If you felt like maybe you could make the world's most expensive Alexa device, we could just have that kind of set up in the living room. Actually, that's not a terrible idea. That's probably a pretty good idea, considering how much Alexa means in my world. Alexa, how much do you mean? No, you.
Here's something I found on the web.
Oh, here's something she found on the web. Great job, Alexa. Here's something she found on the web. So that is a terrible idea. Okay, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to startle other people's Alexas. You know what? I think we got some good ideas. Anybody got a last one before we close the books on the iMac 2017? Smash it with a hammer. Burger Boomer Nugget. Welcome. Welcome into the stream. Yes, I could smash it with a hammer. So let's put that here. Smash it with a hammer. That is a terrible idea. And you have just joined the club. Welcome in. Baradane, one last one. You could set up a script that just says, just have Siri say the word Alexa over and over again. Place it outside your house for a public Wi-Fi spot. Yep, I could hotspot that baby right outside Jerry's Jug House and give everybody free Wi-Fi. That's the kind of guy I am. Mrs. Duck, I do have pets. I've got 3 dogs. What do you have in mind? What terrible idea do you have in mind with my beloved pets, Mrs. Duck? What will you do? What will you suggest? Scott Holtzman, take it to coffee shops and work on invoicing or something. Yeah, that would be pretty fun just to wander into coffee shops and set up a 27-inch iMac every morning and just be like, what? Grande. Depends on how big the dogs are. Well, they're small. They're small pups. Why don't you brew on that? And I did see you said if you have a cat, you can make it a place to sleep. Maybe so. And folks, sorry if I missed anything as I was going through here. Smash out the screen and make it a sleeping place. Yeah, my dogs would love to be able to cozy up inside an iMac. So that might be something that we think about. All right, great job, everybody. Really, really great job. Let's keep moving along. Yesterday's most terrible idea, which was Friday's yesterday's most terrible idea, came from you, Jaco. You may remember we were talking about different ways that we could wake up Support Sidecar. We could wake up Andy Gasper, and well, one of the ideas that came out was why don't we get bed shakers, and we began to elaborate on that we might actually be able to create a new gig economy startup. Got some spare time, go wake people up in their homes for a contracted rate. And so Wakesies, the gig economy bed shakers, was yesterday's most terrible idea. Congratulations, you, Jaco. Thanks for coming in. Really, really appreciate it. All right. As you know, I'm unresting in my desire to terablate this network. We're always trying to come up with new things to pilot, new ways to kind of challenge convention. And so I'm going to ask you guys to join me on Thursday afternoon. So I've talked to several people who are interested in participating in the show, whether that's coming in and just being an active participant like you great folks are, or being a guest. And for some folks, whether it's because of their time zone or they just don't want to get up in the morning, they made it really clear to me they're not interested in our 8:30 time slot. Well, I am, and you are, and that's why we're here. And Imagivate Live isn't going anywhere. We're going to be here every single day, weekday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But I do want to begin to kind of poke out into some other spaces and also respect our work and school times, block, because after this, and that's actually what we're going to talk about today, we get down to work because that's what we do. But wouldn't it be great if we could do something in the afternoons or evenings? So I am going to pilot this terrible idea called the Q1 EMEA Revenue Forecasting Meeting. And my idea is that we put this on the calendar and then we all sort of share this out with people as a meeting invite. And then we do the world's largest Zoom meeting, but it's a fake meeting so that we can all have a happy hour of fun Imagivation. So this will start showing up on people's calendars. We'll get it into Outlook. We'll figure out how to do like a Zoom meeting and then broadcast the Zoom meeting on Twitch. Do you see how terrible this is already? I really don't know how in the hell this is going to happen, but I've got a really special guest who wants to do a happy hour slot in the next couple of weeks. So I thought if we started revving the engines on this thing, we might be able to have something really fun. So we're not going to talk about that today. Maybe we'll touch on that a little bit tomorrow. Why don't you brew that in your brains and see what you think about that? I think it could be a ton of fun. I'd really love for us to kind of bring that to life. And I hope that you'll join me in the afternoons when we start to explore that time slot together. All right. One of the things I've always sort of promised is this, exploration into terrible ideas. Why do we talk about terrible ideas? Why, Troy, do you want to get to terrible ideas when we're all supposed to be paid to do good and maybe even great ideas? Well, if you're new to the show, you'll start to learn pretty quickly that I believe that when we give ourselves permission to go after terrible ideas, that really interesting things start to happen. And while we might not get to good or great ideas, we at least get to interesting thinking that gets us to a little bit closer down the line. You guys have met Matt Bledsoe, my former partner, Big Fat Brain. He's going to be joining us tomorrow, I believe, for Thought Worst. I hope you can still do it for Tagline Tuesday. Pardon me, I'm sorry, for Whose Tagline Is It Any Wednesdays on Tuesday. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow. But this was a terrible, terrible idea that we had. And follow me over here. We're going to take a look at a video. If I can bring this up here. This is, take a look at this and then we'll talk about it.
The Dubs are killing this country with their bleeding hearts and their man butt fancy. I'll give you a bleeding heart, pinko. I'll stab you in the aorta with a pencil. Rest in that peace.
All right, so what you're seeing here is an episode of a series that we created called Itty Bitty Liddy. We realized that Matt, with his head shaved and a mustache, looks exactly like G. Gordon Liddy, who was sort of a kind of a G-man back in the day. He was part of like the Watergate craziness. He broke into places and did things that sort of deep state kind of stuff. And so we came up with this idea, well, what if G. Gordon Liddy could be shrunk down to 6 inches? Itty Bitty Liddy was born, and we created this terrible series, which it was almost impossible for us to produce. And one of the reasons why was because this scene, Thought Worst, maybe you can help me out, was shot in a hotel which has now been torn down in Cincinnati because of many, many health code violations over and over again. But we went into this hotel late at night on a Tuesday night, 2 dudes walking into a rundown hotel in the downtown district with camera, like recording equipment. What's going on there? And we went in and we shot this. Matt stayed fully clothed. We were like, should you get under the covers of this bed? we definitely were like, you're not, we really shouldn't do that. And we just kind of didn't touch as many things as we could as we shot this thing. Anyway, this was a terrible idea, which actually led to a really, really great idea, because if we hadn't done Itty Bitty Liddy, we wouldn't have activated ourselves into some other content that we ended up having great success with. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, and especially in anticipation of Matt joining again tomorrow. Terrible ideas are important because they are the key to unlock even greater potential. All right, well, let's come back over to our Imagivate screen. And, well, actually, before we do that, I think I had a thing that I wanted to say over here about what we're going to talk about today. So I think one of the things that I'm really excited about when we get together is this energy. And I've had a lot of you kind of reach out to me, like in emails and texts and stuff, and say like, hey, Troy, this is what I have been kind of missing, especially in this kind of COVID time. Really enjoy this energy. We get together, we spend a lot of quick, fast, energizing time together to kind of get the thing going. But I think I'm struggling with trying to figure out how to take that energy and get right into our day. One thing that's really helped me is that having this show and doing this has made me even more excited about the work that I'm doing at work. But I want to think about, like, what are more terrible ways that we can bring terrible into our day coming out of Imagivate Live? How do we take the energy that we're generating together and bring it in to our days, whether you're working or you're going to school or you're teaching, or you're just trying to manage a household full of people that are doing life a little bit differently right now. So with that in mind, let's come back over here to our Imagivate screen, and let's figure out what does that look like. How do we bring more terrible into our days? And I think I saw something already from Scott Holtzman said, Defacilitation. Is it defacilitation? Defacilitate? Or difficilitation? Either way, both of those are terrible. Oh, it's Latin. I'm sorry. What? Please do tell, Scott Holtzman. What Latin? What Latin have you befoisted upon us? Difficilitation. It's Latin. Facili. Defacili. I love facili. I think we had some at Pompilio's the other night. It was fantastic. Diffacili, which means to smother in marinara sauce. Carry around a buzzer and activate it anytime someone has a good idea. This now we're talking. Then shout, wrong answer, and move on to something else. So we'd have the right answer button buzzer. I like that. Wrong, right answer. Right, wrong answer button. Nice. Dave on base 32, thank you. That's a really, really good one. Defacili means and make harder. Scott, I don't. This is the right place for this kind of terrible thinking. So keep bringing it on. But I got to tell you, if it's going where I think it's going, we may hit the censor block. Make harder to defacili. Defacili. Okay, that's a really good one. All right, so let's think. You're getting into your day. You're feeling pumped about just being liberated to kind of just let it go, let your brain out, come up with some crazy Latinized terminology, or maybe you're thinking about busting up an iMac. Maybe you've been trying to brainstorm ideas to wake up Andy Gasper. Whatever it is, you've got a lot of Imagivation energy, and you want to put it into the day in a way that can be prosperous for you. Support card sidecar says, Imagivate the home board game. All right. So why not take this experience that we're doing right here and put it into a family-friendly 2 to 4 player home version of Imaginate the board game? Okay, that's a terrible idea. I would imagine that at some point somebody's going to get upset. I don't know how this would work if you've got pieces that you move around, or maybe it's just there are no pieces. It's just an empty white board. And then when you open it up, you're like, this is terrible. This is the worst game I've ever seen. Who made this? Terrible. 79 seconds. Welcome back. Work Imagivation into at least 10 conversations per day. That's a great one. We used to dare each other to say things in front of clients that sounded like they were maybe, important words. Imagivate surely could be one that you could be threading into everyday conversation. Jaco, whenever you have to present at a meeting, glue a dead fly to your temple and then carry on the presentation as normal. Okay, that's great. So you're going to go into a meeting, and we're going to glue a dead fly right there. Well, you said to your temple, so maybe it needs to be a little bit further over here on the temple. Okay, yeah, terrible idea. And I think, if anything, you're definitely going to be memorable in the meeting, without a doubt. Dave on base 32, bring Imagivation to grade school Zoom sessions. If anybody has a grade school aged student, and Burger Boomer Nugget, I know that might actually qualify you. I'd love to understand how we could actually bring Imagivation into grade school Zoom sessions. I believe that this idea of liberating brains to think about terrible ideas absolutely suits our school age children. There's no reason why any kid should be pressured into having to come up with a great idea all the time, right? Let them just come up with really dumb, terrible stuff, especially in math. Because I think that we're way, way, way too rigid on getting the right answers out of math. Let them kind of fly. Let them spread their wings and kind of jump out there and see what sort of new kind of equations they can come up with. If we could only allow them to unlock their terrible thinking. Scott Holtzman says the Imagivate game board could be on the wall. Throw things at it. Keep what does not stick. Okay, so the idea is that you move this to the wall. Yep, I'm with you. And I don't know why I'm drawing a grid of things on our blank game board. This is blank. And the idea is that you are going to hurl things at it, and anything that doesn't stick is a terrible idea and that you are committed to doing it. I like it. Throw at wall, non-stick. Thought worse, turn Imagivate into the latest conspiracy theory. Okay, I'm still listening. Spend your day trying to convince anyone who will listen that good ideas are just a way for a shadow cabal to control our minds. And then also maybe throw in 5G. Like 5G, you idiot. You are a tool of the system. Don't you understand? Imagivate, it's built into it's institutionalized now. They're watching us right now have this terrible conversation. All right. I like conspiracy theories. Dave on Base is definitely committed to that. Look, folks, there's one thing that we know. Conspiracy theories are the fuel of the mind. And if you don't believe that, then you are part of the conspiracy. All right, so we had some good stuff. I do like the idea of creating some sort of physical manifestation of Imagivation. We've talked about a home version in a board game format, one that might be put up on the wall. What are some other types of physical manifestations of Imagivation? Perhaps we could have. So we had the button too, right? I really like that one a lot. You have the button that you can carry around. Maybe what we have is Imagivate T-shirts, and on the T-shirt is some sort of phrase, or maybe it's just a blank, and then we ask people to come up and write on the shirt, right? So what's your most terrible idea? Write your most terrible idea here. And then you just have, like, hanging from here is a Sharpie that you just are carrying around with you all the time. Okay. Write your most terrible idea here. Okay. Dave on Base 32, pursue Imagivate segments on cable news shows. Now, to figure out where the economy might go given this new development, Imagivation expert Troy Hitch. Yeah, and then there's nothing wrong that could happen from that, Dave on Base. That's a terrible idea. Become cable news pundit with Imagivation. I like it. It's terrible. Nice work. Start a rumor on Reddit that a Discord channel is available. Start a rumor on Reddit that a Discord channel is. Jesus, 79 seconds. Finish that sentence. Support sidecar, a broken light bulb symbolizing a bad idea. Okay. All right. That's pretty easy. That's pretty, I think what's really great is when you start to embrace the idea of cliches and the expected, because then you can be like, it's terrible because I didn't take any time to really kind of reflect on it. It's a broken light bulb, and stick that in your pipe and smoke it. That's a good one. So let's see. Is Andy Gasper's sleep cycle a key indicator for financial markets? Interesting. Let's watch Andy and his sleep patterns, and then make major investment decisions based on those circadian rhythms. I I don't know. That might be enough to get the markets to move. An Andy Gasper index, sleep index. The Andy Gasper sleep index. It's the AGSI. How's the AGSI doing this morning? Oh, it's up 7%. Yeah, Andy got into a fight with his girlfriend. Let's see. Or let's just watch Andy sleep. Yep. Just watch Andy sleep. Let's get that mustache. He's just peacefully sleeping. I don't know why you look like Mario, Andy. Well, there it is. Yep. Good night, sweet Mario. We'll see you in the morning. It's me, Andy Gasper. Oh. That's terrible. Oh, Andy Gasper as Mario in a casket. Dead Mario. Oh, that's so good. Good night. You do have a giant red hat. I wonder if I can get red in there while we're doing this. Somebody, come on. We need just a few more. I know we can get there. Oop. Let's see. Yeah. This is so bad. Oh. What could we do with Mario? Let's get Nintendo to shut this stream down. I bet it's gonna probably happen any minute now. Okay, well, this is a pretty good start to the morning. Nice work, everybody. Welcome back to some of those folks who are just kind of joining back in again. 79 seconds. Always great to have you here. Welcoming all of our new folks, Mrs. Duck, Scott Holtzman. I'm really glad to have you being a part of the Imagivator universe. So, folks, that'll do it for us here tonight. I hope that you have a really great day. I hope that things are going your way, and I hope you can Imagivate like you were meant to Imagivate. Have a great one.
Shouts to all my lost boys, we rowdy. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys, we rowdy. Shouts to all my lost boys. Still got my marbles. balls. But I got these beats banging out the back of my toy car. Hey, yo, I'm eating Fun Dip right now. Not giving a fuck.
Biggest boss and I've been a trillist. I'm a bigger problem when I click with Skrillex. Murder on my mind, it's time to pray to God. My revolver's not religious, the revolution's born. You wanna know my name, to go and tell us us. You wanna know my gang, Suicide Squad. Pistol on my waist, I might make a mistake. Headshot, oh my God, am I crazy? Drugs every corner, this is Gotham City. Killer Croc came to kidnap you to cut out your kidney. Ain't no mercy, got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Rose, so she know that pussy worth it. Flooded Rolex at the Grammy Awards.